Hello, and welcome to the Kim Patton Show. Okay, that's not what this is called, but today I'm talking about a super hyped up book, Gay Girl, Good God. It came out a few years ago, I think, and I'm a little late to the party in reading it. 2018, sorry. But I had heard a lot of really good things about it, so I wanted to read it, and I also have been struggling like crazy with my thoughts on this area. And I've talked to Kevin about it a million times. He's probably so annoyed. But I really wanted to read this to help me understand more of what I think and what I'm going to do about it, and what God thinks and what God has done about it and is doing about it. So I was really excited to read this, but as I read it, I realized it was way better than I ever could have thought. It was way better than lots of books that I have ever read. Not on this topic, but even just personal stories and memoirs and personal nonfiction. It was the best. It was very, very good. And what made it so good, in my opinion, is two things, really. The first thing is that she is a poet naturally, so she's very good with words. I didn't feel like this book had a lot of poetry style. I felt that she kind of sprinkled it in there once in a while, but it was definitely enough to help me get to know her as a poet and as a woman of words. But it wasn't overly poetic or even overly creative. It was really just from her heart, but it was very well written, well edited. I mean, class act writing. I really, really, really appreciated that. But secondly, she blew me away with her humble approach to God and the gospel. She completely laid it all at his feet for his glory. She really figured out a way to tell her story without talking about herself, even though she talked about herself the whole time. I didn't see that. I didn't see Jackie for Jackie. I saw Christ through Jackie. And that to me was like phenomenal. I don't know how she did it. It was really, really incredible. So for those of you who don't know what this book is about, she grew up in a home with her mother. She was fatherless. She did suffer sexual abuse, unfortunately. That is part of her story. And when she was in high school, she identified as a lesbian, and she wore clothes that were masculine. So she was living that lifestyle when she became a Christian, and that kind of changed everything. But it was so much more than a salvation story. It was a redemption story, but it was also just so honest. She was just really straightforward about her struggles. She didn't really hide anything, and it was really obvious as you were reading that this was a true story. This came directly from her heart. I love her now. She's the best. I've been stalking her on social media this week. Checked out her YouTube page. I've checked out her Instagram, her podcast, her and her husband's YouTube page, her and her husband's podcast. She has a daughter named Eden. So I think that we're bound to be friends someday. I think she's even only like a year older than me. So we have a lot in common, as Christians. And I just really admire who she is as an author, as a person, as a wife, as a mother. She makes me laugh. So anyways, you can see how obsessed I am with her now that I've read her book. But I definitely recommend it. Gay Girl, Good God, Jackie Hill Perry. Please, please, please read this for the sake of appreciating the gospel, because that was her whole point. All right, happy reading. See you next time.